So why then, how do I want to phrase this? I know the question. I just want to like figure out how I want to phrase this. Um, so why continue for you? And I'll ask the rest of you guys this too, and because I want to like continue getting AnnaMarie and Christina's perspectives on the same idea, but or what we've been talking about. Um, but for you, why, knowing what you know, why do you continue? Why do you not say, you know what, this actually isn't for me, let me walk away? Because that would be the best thing. And I'm not saying that it is, obviously. Like you're not like if that idea of like, you know, and now I know the truth. The veil has been lifted, the Oz is wizard has been revealed, and this is bullshit. And like I didn't sit and think long or hard enough about this. And like what keeps you going? What is it that for you personally is like, regardless of what I know, motherhood is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be stewarding these two boys' lives.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a cat isn't just for Christmas, right? Like, it's some like crazy bullshit. If someone walks away from parenthood, it happens all the time, right? But why do you keep doing it? I mean, really, like, I know it sounds really messed up, but do you have a choice? And of course you do. But maybe it's that deep soul contract, right? And I know Christina, and this all got brought up because I had a client who's trying to be a mom, have a soul contract that she's not supposed to have children, and like the floodgates opened of questions and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I suppose it's just like that innate knowing that no matter how hard it gets or what challenges come up, that you're supposed to be here doing this. And because of my journey, I could look at my boys, they're both rainbow babies, and know that that specific soul came down. And I understand why I lost the other ones, or why the soul chose not to come in through that form or that body or that timing. Um, so I think you just intuitively know that that was what was going to happen. I honestly freely say this to my community that if I would have had kids at 27, I would have been divorced and I would have been a below average mom. And I know that I had to go through that journey to be able to be at a certain level to help steward where what kind of soul my children were going to be and what kind of lessons that they wanted to learn. I had to be, we were talking about the whole Jesus and Mother Mary the other day. She had to
Yeah.
be one badass bitch to carry through and steward that type of person who, became what he became. So I think you just innately know. And of course you can give up. Of course you can change your contracts. I mean, but reality is, I I don't know, like, I don't know what to say about the people who do choose that, who do
Mm-hmm.
give up. You
Mm-hmm.
know, are they pieces of shits or are they just maybe true to their contract? Like, yeah, well, got contracted into being a dickhead, so here I am showing up, doing my part. I don't know. Like, it's an interesting question. Um, but yeah, for me, it's like a no-brainer. Like I've got two cats right now that just if they left on their own accord, I would not be sad. But would I purposely make them go away? No.
Yeah. Christina, this thoughts on what we're discussing here, not just the um you knowing that you have, first I want you to start there, just so that I'm keeping everybody on track here. We're about to wrap this up. But you had said, just remind everybody that you had a soul calling not to be a mom,
Yes.
that you felt like you were like, I don't want to be a mom.
Some
So
other
first thoughts
version
on
of
that.
me, yeah, some other version of me firmly made a soul contract to not parent again. And this version of me was like, mm-hmm. um, And no, I never, like, you know, the girls that dream about their wedding and dream about having the 2.5 kids and the dog and the white picket fence. That was not me. I'm an artist, and I always saw myself being an artist. Either it was performing on a stage or on the silver screen, traveling the world, um, making, being a creator was always my ambition, my dream. And then I met my husband, and he very much wanted children and to be a parent. And we waited a very long time. We just celebrated 16 years of marriage, but my oldest is 10. And I know that, like Monica just said, that I waited because my maturity of adulting had not kicked in my 20s. And I probably would have been a parent that walked away and divorced, right? But because I waited, um, and then I found myself being a parent. I didn't have to go through anything to parent. I naturally was able to have kids, breastfeed both of them easily, no major complications. Well, sort of with Celine's delivery was complicated, but that's besides the point. But and it was.
By the way,
I'm sorry.
Is that your screaming in the background?
Yes. Proof is in the pudding, guys. Proof is in the pudding. But at some point after I had my first daughter, I was uneasy with this role that I all of a sudden was occupying, because as an intuitive, I saw it long term, right? Like I saw motherhood, being the homemaker as a long term situation, and I flipped out because I was like, whoa, this wasn't how I saw my life. Like, I'm supposed to be traveling the world. I'm supposed to be an artist. And now I'm at home baking cookies. It's happening to me. And for a long time, there was this resistance to the mundane things of being the mom that stays home and takes the kids to their after school activities. And, you know, I joke about, you know, at 3 o'clock, my Uber light turns on and it doesn't turn off until I get the kids home at whatever odd time that is every day. It's different. And it's still, and I still struggle with it, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, you know, the dishes sometimes are in the sink and I'm like, but I did my nails, so I'm not touching those, you know? And it wasn't an easy. And so part of my healing process was releasing that vow that I took in another version of me. So one of the things that I journaled about this morning is that while contracts can be changed, it's almost like a braid when you have children that are intertwined. So everyone has to kind of, all the souls kind of have to agree when you're going to breach the contract or change the contract, because it's all like together, it's all tangled up together in this braid of energy. And I was like, well, I am a mother now. And you asked the question about why I continued. And the bottom line is, I fucking love those kids. They drive me absolutely bonkers shit crazy. And do I love my alone time and my me time and my getaway time with my husband? 110% if that exists. However, I deeply love my daughters. Deeply. I would kill for my kids. And I ain't joking. And that is a love that you can't explain either on social media. That is a deeper reason why we fight every day for this, to be better. Because I wouldn't be sitting here today having this conversation about soul contracts if I hadn't birthed those two screaming children out there. And that is a fact. They made me a better human. Ooh, and I get chills when I say it. They made me a better human. And every day I wake up wanting to be a better human. because I birthed those girls. So I'd never change that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it isn't challenging as all hell some days. But that is my bottom line.
Mm-hmm. AnnaMarie, you wanted to be a mom, but not at the time. That the timing was off.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to have my first kid and between the ages of 28 and 30, which I am now 28. So, and I wanted to be married. I had like a whole plan. Like it was very, very rigid. But I want to have more kids. There was a period in time after I had had Scarlett, like the first year where I was like, I'm having no more kids because like the newborn phase was very hard for me. It was very like, I am not used to my body needing to be slow. I'm not used to needing to like stop and like, breastfeeding didn't really work for me. I mean, granted, it was also very uncomfortable. I was living with my parents. So like trying to breastfeed when I'm in the same house as my brothers, my dad, my sisters, my mom was just like very stressful. So like I only breastfed for a month, which was frustrating. And then I was also in my senior year classes. So I would put her to sleep. She would slept for 45 minutes, max the first 10 months that she was alive. And then I would go and finish a paper or take an online exam. And I also had my internship at the same time, like that I needed to graduate. So like I was doing all of these things, and I remember being like, I didn't stop to think. I was just like, no, we're just gonna keep going. And when I first found out I was pregnant with her, I remember even though I was like crying on the floor of a frat house, it's very college-esque, very whatever. I was like, I know that I'm gonna keep her. Like I know that like that was just like the choice. I just knew deep inside. I was just like, all the shit's gonna hit the fan, but like I know that this is just gonna be a thing. And even now I'm like, why do I keep doing it? First of all, I love being a mom. It's stressful, and I hate certain things that like that I feel like I can't do. But I have so much fun being a mom. Like I love seeing the human that she's growing into be. And I will feel that way with all of the kids that I have in the future. I won't have as many as I originally planned. Because like when I was young, it was funny, Christina, you were like, I was not the girl who like fantasized about her wedding. And when I had a scrapbook of the type of cakes and the dresses and the color schemes and the guest list. Like I had a whole thing. I used to buy those bridal magazines and clip them out. And I wanted to have between 5 and 7 kids. And I was like, well, I wanted to also be president. So like I was like, if I'm gonna live in the White House, I want to fill all of the rooms. So
A lot about as I was listening to Cristina too was like, she's like, I'm baking cookies. Who the frick am I? And I'm like, this is AnnaMarie. She's like, I am over here baking bread, baking cakes. Like, come over. I got the streusel nice and warm.
I do. It's really funny because growing up when I would fantasize about being a mom, it was kind of like, yeah, I'm a mom, but like my career is the top priority. But it's funny now because like my business and my career is still like top of the list and stuff, but I love the different things. I love being the crunchy mom and making stuff from scratch. Like I will on Sundays, I'll bake bread, I make cookies for her lunches. And that's like part of my joy of how I show up as being a mom. Like I'm not the mom who loves to sit and play for hours. It's just not my thing. Like hide and go seek is my personal, I hate hide and go seek. But I will bake you whatever. Like, oh, there's a bake sale. Oh, you just are in the mood for like a Pop-Tart, but so I'll make it from scratch. Like that's just my thing. But yeah, I keep going because I love it. Like I have baby fever now. Like I would love to have kids in the next couple years again. And I'm like, and even though I know I'm like that newborn phase is gonna hit me like a rock, but yeah, I keep going because I love it, and I get so excited thinking about just like the little human, or she won't be a little human forever, but just like the human that will be launched into society. And like my best friend and I laugh all the time. We're like, oh, she's gonna be so funny to like watch, like, take on the world, because she will. She's the opposite of me in a lot of ways, but like so similar. She likes routine. I'm a little bit more like go with the flow. So it's very interesting to just see how life unfolds. But I think it's also, the timing was very, I was still a kid. Like, I look back, even though I'm only 28 now, I look back and I was like, oh my God, I was a child. Like, all I wanted to do was go out with my friends and, you know, get into grad school. And then I became a mom, and I wasn't ready for it. And there was a lot of grieving that I postponed. And I think the things that I struggle with now, that I'm learning now, are because I delayed that grief. That happens when, like, you're transitioning from, like, you're a whole different person after you give birth and after you have a child. And so I think when we delay that grief, it can make later on in motherhood more stickier, more uncomfortable, because we're still trying to hold on to the before, or make ourselves into the before, but you can't make yourself into the before anymore. So I'll end with that, you know.
I think ultimately the one thing that I want our listeners to have taken away from all of these different perspectives is something that I tell new nurses or people who are prospective nurses, and I think it can apply here, is that your worst day, where you are covered in shit and blood and urine, which, as like parents, y'all know what I'm talking about, just from a nursing perspective. When you have to, you've had to fight for life, and that fight for life may come at the beginning, the middle, or the end. Your worst day has to be your best day. You have to walk out feeling like you wouldn't be fulfilled any other way than doing this. And I think I'm okay for speaking for all of these ladies, that in whether they could articulate exactly why, or whether it was an amorphous, ethereal, I just know I'm supposed to do it, and I'm not gonna kick these guys out of the house and tell them to fend for themselves. Um, they are living examples of this. And I also want to make it very clear too, that if you're listening to this and you have been questioning your role, and you're going through and you're listening to these perspectives and you're coming to a completely different conclusion, I need you to understand something that my mom was saying, that the best thing that you can do is to be truthful and honest to yourself, because your soul contract is standing up, rearing its ugly head, saying to you, I need you to listen to how you're feeling about this, and I need you to truly like think this through. And like AnnaMarie was saying, you may have to go through some grief process, but go through them, acknowledge what's happening, seek out help, seek out your tribe, seek out support. All of these ladies are well versed in what it is to have to live their lives, make hard choices, having to, whether they're a therapist or a fertility coach or just moms or just intuitives or whatever just you want to put on it. I will make sure that the contacts for everyone is in the show notes, that it is in where you have access to it. I want you guys to know that in some way, shape, or form, you will be able to reach out and seek support from them in one way or another. And that they have avenues for you to do that depending on what it is that you're seeking. And so, know that there is, like we have all been saying, there is no right way or wrong way to do this, but being truthful and honest to yourself when it comes to parenthood, when it comes to motherhood, is the utmost importance, because at the end of the day, you are the steward of another soul, and they depend on you, not for every little thing, but for your willingness to do it. And as Monica said, there are some parents out there that contracted into not to just being the donor. And as a product of one of those parents, I will absolutely say in his soul has departed this life with no tears from me or mine. But I will say that I have never been more grateful for the fact that he chose to honor who he was, It might not have been an easy process, but he honored who he needed to be. And that allowed me to grow up with the best parent that I needed, the only parent that I needed. And there has never been any regrets around that. And so, speaking as like the product of that, I want any parent or any potential parent out there who's listening, who's really questioning that, who's really thinking like, is this in my soul contract to even be a parent? There is nothing wrong with saying no, and that stays consistent for you. There should be no guilt or shame around that. And if you are thinking of this through and you're like, yes, I am meant to do this and I need to, I'm struggling with my fertility, Monica's here for you. I will give you her free discovery call link. All of these things, right? If you need support and emotions and how to answer the trauma and things like that, AnnaMarie and Cristina have avenues to be able to work with them to help you through those things. If you just need advice from a beautiful mama of four, give you my mom's email. If you're older and you're like, I just need somebody who grew up with nothing, inundated with too many people around her, right here, we've got you. Okay, we've got you wherever you're at. We will meet you wherever you're at. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. The last thing that I want to say before we leave is if you scroll up to the top of the chat, if you can see it, there will be links, and if I'll work it all out that you guys will be able to see. Each one of these ladies has brought up a charity that they would love for you to consider supporting. And I wanted to do this because this whole series will have this as a component of it. This is obviously free for everyone to listen to. It will be available on free platforms, but I want everybody to take a look and consider like being able to say how blessed have you been, and are you willing to bless somebody else, just whether you're thinking it's good karma, whether you're just wanting to bless somebody, whether you just feel like it's necessary for you and you've been looking for something good. We've got some really amazing organizations that really help children and help mothers, and is just a very beautiful place to start. So definitely check those out. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the Wounds, Traumas, and Past Lives edition of the Sacred Soul Contract series. Thank you, ladies, once again for being here. I cannot tell you how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Mwah. Thank you so much for joining us. Wasn't that amazing? I know. It can't really get any better, but can it? Keep watching in this epic series. There's 4 editions to this. So if you've only watched 1, you only watched 2, there are more in this series. Thank you once again so much for watching and listening. If this is your first time being here with me, if this is your first time finding me, my name is Abigail White. I am a master healer and a medical intuitive, and really here to help you bridge the gap between your physical body and what it needs and what it's saying to you, and the energy medicine that exists around you that is innately within inside of you. I'm so excited for you to be on this journey. Don't forget to do all of the things, click, subscribe, comment, put on that notification bell. We're going to be here. We're going to be here. We're going to be bringing you much knowledge and so much wisdom and so much opportunity for healing. So thank you once again, and we'll see you on the next one.